Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is well. Happy Monday for those that are joining us live. Thank you so much for being here. Daily Boost speaking about control, mind. Once you get into this stuff, it's daunting at first, but once you get into it, you start to realize how important it is. And if you don't get into it, it starts to get into you. I know I'm about a week late on this. I don't think you'll ever be late on this. But I've only heard and seen a dozen times since the downfall of one of the most popular celebrities in the country. Like, it is shocking, I think, that Will Smith, who, I mean, is maybe one of the most talented and sought after movie stars in the country, on the night that he won Best Actor for the first time in his life, stood up on stage in front of millions of people and smacked another person for telling a joke about his wife. It's, to me, so shocking. 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 Now, the joke was, for those who don't know, please let us know where your rock is and we can go hide under it with you. But really, for those who don't know, Chris Rock made a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith's hair loss, bald head. I don't think he knew that it was because she was suffering from a condition that had her hair fall out, so she shaved it. But either way, the way you handle it is you deal with it afterwards in the break and explain it. If you really are upset, you can speak in an infuriated tone. And if you can't control yourself, you wait for the cameras to go off and maybe in the green room and whatever. Now, I'm not condoning that, but to stand up in front of millions of people, it's not like his first time being in front of the camera, right? Like, millions of people are watching. I don't say millions, no one watches that stuff anymore, but presumably. To stand up on stage and whack a guy, I mean, that's just unbelievable that happened. It's unbelievable that happened, in my opinion. And I know, like, I'm a week late, but I'm still getting over it, to be honest. Not because of them particularly, but because of that we witnessed this. And if you want to make it worse, not only do we witness the guy smack another guy in front of public for saying a joke, they gave him the best actor and gave him a standing ovation later. Like, you just can't believe this. Like, it's not believable. The level of which society is incapable of doing great things. The level in which society has zero moral strength when they see it. The response isn't time out. Like, out. If that was in a basketball game, they'd kick him out. If that was in a football game, they'd kick him out. Like, you see just what celebrity can do. You see what personalities can do. You see, between the Ukraine war and between this, although they're not the same, it's life and death, but still you see what individuals can do when they are left unchecked. It's my opinion, unbelievable. And it is exactly what we're talking about. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not trying to play the hits. I'm not trying to talk about the news. I'd be a week late for that. I'm doing it because this is what I'm talking about. This is the idea of what's in someone else's mind. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about the humility of trying to understand what's in someone else's mind, to see it from their perspective. Right? If he would have sat there for a second and try to be Chris Rock and maybe given the guy a drop of benefit of doubt or not, like, for a second, to try to maybe think that someone else's perspective isn't as malicious as you take it. This is it. Like, this is the case in point. If you want to see the extreme of what can happen when you do not work on your mind, we watched it, or you saw the replay of it. of a man at the height of his success stroll on stage, smack another person, destroying him in terms of his how he feels. I mean, smacked him, and then like nonchalantly just walked off the stage and yelled at him twice. Like, when you start to spend too much time into yourself, you don't appreciate what's in the mind of another. Now, it's shocking to us, but we do it all the time. Maybe not so extreme, but you say things that embarrass people, that threaten you, don't you? You ever give a passive aggressive remark? I had a friend that we were sitting in a meeting just a few days ago, and somebody said something, and the other person like just passive aggressive, like snide comment. It really hurt the guy. I was there. The guy didn't even mean to say that. He said something that triggered something in somebody else. He tripped over a mine, and the guy who heard it, like, boom, he smacked him. He just didn't smack him with his hand. He smacked him with his mouth. But you don't see that all the time. The way people speak to each other, the way people don't speak to each other. People just shut down, and that person just is ignored now for the rest of the conversation or for the rest of the night or whatever it is. That's not a smack. I saw a study the other day where was I seeing this? I forgot where. It's something to do with like office culture. And it was saying that people that are ignored have a harder time than people that are disparaged. You believe that? Because at least when you're disparaged, you exist. When you're ignored, you don't. Doesn't happen all the time. Ignore people. Someone gives you the wrong thing, you lash out. How many times I see this in the restaurants? Waiter brings over the wrong thing. Service people. It's crazy. But we do this. We smack people. Because we're not in their heads. We don't have empathy. We don't see the world from someone else's perspective. We don't live in the place where we are able to see our thoughts and control them to some extent. Remember, we spoke about this last time. Controlling, being able to gain visibility to your mind. Why am I thinking this way? Why do I feel this way? Seeing the thought, feeling the thought before the thought controls you. I guarantee you, guaranteed, I think, as confident as I may be, Will Smith right now is going, what the heck did I just do? I'm sure of it. I'm positive that Will Smith's right now sitting in his house, his mansion somewhere in Hollywood, thinking, holy cow. Like, I don't believe it. Guaranteeing you. Why? Because when he was feeling it, he wasn't seeing it. You see, when we spoke about last week, this idea of like reaching for the cookies, remember that whole stuff, and seeing the thoughts and recognizing that because I have a thought doesn't mean I have to be subject to the thought. When we do stuff like this, when you practice this stuff, when you spend time having a thought that you don't like and then not being held down to it, but pushing back on it and recognizing that you are not your thoughts and that you can create a pathway of more empowering thoughts. And when you see somebody else, you can train yourself to be empathetic. You can train yourself to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You can train yourself to say, I don't live in that person's head. It sounds malicious to me, but I'm not in any life danger. Let me just pause for a second. Had Will Smith paused till the commercial break and said, I'm going to take the guy, had he just said, mental note, when I go to the green room after it's over, when he's done with the set, he's going to sneak back to the green room. I'm going to excuse myself and beat him up. Had he just said that, I guarantee you nothing would have happened. Second, a pause. Let me think. Emotion takes over. The thoughts hijack. All the time this happens in our lives. You can't look at Will Smith and point at him without turning that finger on ourselves. It's just not with people. It could be with food. It could be with people in our lives, children, students, spouses. We don't lose it on people. We don't get upset with people. We don't smack them verbally. We don't smack them emotionally. It's not part of everyone's life. At some point, unless you're a really, really sensitive, collaborative person, we don't watching political rhetoric where everyone's like yelling at each other all day. What's the difference? Because sticks and stones may make our bones and blah blah blah. That's not even true. Most of the things that hurt the longest are the words. Most people that are hurt in life, they're because somebody usually said words to them. This is what happens when you're not in the exercise regime called trying to control or trying to understand thought. This is what happens. And we're all guilty in some way of this thing. All of us has a little bit of that moment inside us. And I see since Will Smith. I mean, I saw two clips, to be honest. Someone sent me both clips. Him smacking Chris Rock, which is incredible. And later on, like a bit of his, acceptance speech and tears and, Academy and love makes you do crazy stuff, which I don't even know what that even means. And I am sure Will Smith, who I believe is a good guy, I'm sure he's thinking, holy cow, what in the world was I thinking? You can make a life in a moment. You can lose a reputation in a moment. God forbid. And although it won't be as dramatic, you could build people and destroy them in moments too. They just won't tell you, but you could do it. You could do it. Teachers have done it. Parents have done it. Parents are different a little bit, but people have done it. They've built people in moments. They've seen somebody and seen the best in them in moments and gave them something that they held on to in tough times. And they've destroyed people in moments. They've destroyed people in moments. They've said things that are never to be forgotten. Boom, one slap. This is real. Gaining a drop of muscle around your mind is the hardest and most important part of your life. Because if you got it, you can navigate your life. And if you don't, you're on somebody else's schedule. You can be hijacked at any moment of some insane emotion that can make you do stuff you will regret. Okay, we'll talk about it. Amazing. All right, have a great day, everybody. God's help. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Living on a lifeline. The world doesn't ever seem to change. Looking for the sunshine, but you're caught up in the rain. It's like your eyes are wide open, but you cannot see. You're watching life pass you by like 1, 2, 3. Walking in destruction. The winds of life blur your vision. All the devastation. Forever feels like you're on the run. It's time. No one else can set you free. You're locked inside, and only you have got the key.